Good. So how you doing? All good, I guess. Good that we are seeing now EPSO moving back to question to not to questions but to competitions. In fact, I don't know how many of you participated in the all one. It was in the 2022. I thought that it was 23, but no. When I was checking the records, it was from 3 years ago. The famous or infamous 154/22 EPSO competition that was cancelled. So, but today it's back. Those are the good news. For the rest, they are different news. I don't know if we can call them good or bad, but we know that for sure are different. And we will try to cover those differences. Today, what we are planning to do for the three profiles is, well, first of all, have a cold drink because it's summer. It's not winter precisely like last time, so it's quite hot. It's good to have a sip of a fresh drink before we start. Hopefully, you are with some air conditioning and a fresh area or environment that allow you to retain full attention. We don't want you to the heat take its toll on you. So the idea, we're going to do the overview and application of the competition, the main elements or features that we think that you should pay attention. We will talk about the test. And when we're talking about the test, we are talking about the resources that we suggest or what we think could be valid for you to prepare this exam. Free, accessible resources. And of course, at the end, even if it's not there, will be the time for your questions and answers. Open mic, and we will try to do our best answering your questions. But in the meantime, as I mentioned before, an initial warning. This is the same competition as the 154. Yes and no. 3 out of 6 profiles are the same, but the rest is different. I mean, regarding the conditions, they are relatively similar, but the test and the process is completely different. So if you were a candidate 3 years ago, forget it. I mean, honestly, forget how the exam went and how it was done, because now it's completely different. Good news, it's completely different. So if you're completely new here, brand new, nothing else. If you are veteran, fine, just delete the previous competition and let's focus on this one. Okay, shall we? Let's go for it. So first of all, the initial overview. Remember, we have in the first field 159, in the second field 150, wrong number, and in the field 3, 126 seats for the reserve list. That's an excellent number. That's good. Caveats, you can only apply to one profile, not to 3. That's one thing. And also, don't be scared or nervous about the potential number of candidates who will participate in this competition. I mean, at the end, as you see there, as much as 50% of them, they don't count. People who register, but they don't take the exam, they don't show up, or they don't prepare at all, they don't know anything about the competition, they just are out of curiosity, these kind of things. So don't worry. I mean, just focus on yourselves and do it right. If you do right, your chances of being in the reserve list are high. It's a question of not making mistakes, not being afraid about the others. That's one thing. And also another thing that this time in the notice is not so well explained like in the past, but it still remains as a rule. The fact that you are in the reserve list gives you the right to become an officer, to become an AST officer of the European institutions, but it doesn't guarantee that you will be one. Of course, we will give you eventually advice and tips when the moment comes to do so, but for the moment, it just be part of the reserve list with the positive aspect that only those in the reserve list can become new officers, new recruits of the European institutions or permanent officials. So that's a good thing for you, I think. Another element, it's general knowledge. All of you will be invited to the exam. Please don't get confused because in the past, people thought, oh, I got invited, so I mean I'm eligible, I can participate. Not in this case. In this competition, you are invited whatsoever. They will check your eligibility after. So better to be ready and check your eligibility before yourselves. Be sure that you fulfill the element, because it will be a pity that you pass the exams and then you get disqualified because you are not eligible. Right? So second element, you need to be patient. Results come at the end, at the very end of the process. Whatever you pass or you fail, the reasoning exam, the written, and everything, the results will come at the end, even the eligibility process. So be patient. The exam will be in 1 day, and no chances to reschedule. Yeah, I mean, imagine I got sick and I have a medical certificate that proves that I was in the hospital the day of the exam. These kind of eventualities are covered by the board that organizes the exam, and yes, you will be rescheduled. You will be offered a second date. I have a technical failure because of the platform. That could happen. Not very likely nowadays, but that could happen. And I couldn't take my exam. You will give it a second date. But I mean, I know the exam is on Tuesday. I prefer to do exams on Wednesday. Can I change? No, you cannot. This kind of change is not allowed. Hope you got the idea. That's the general remarks. Then the general conditions. Business as usual. Be a national of member states, have fulfilled all any obligations by the laws concerning military service, and the requirements are due meet the character requirements for the duties concerned. Everything is in the notice. So that's one thing. Then on the languages, basic one, C1, B2 level, language one, language two. Usually language one is our native language. So if you are native means C2 covered. Language two, minimum B2, working language. So meaning I am capable of working in Spanish and English. Fine, that's fine. Also, remember you don't need a certificate. You don't need the evidence, physical evidence of your level of languages, but just to take the exams in these two languages. We will see the split. In fact, the split is here. So you see that the reasoning test will be language one, and the field-related MCQ test and the EUFTE, European Union Free Text essay, it will be in language two. That's the difference. Which one I'm supposed to choose? Which one is better? Up to you. Try different tests. Practice. Practice with the two options and see what goes better for you. Remember that the essay is not a test on languages. So you don't have to write perfect. You need to write effective. I mean that the reader can understand your ideas, your input, and that's it. You don't need to provide evidence that you have a great writing skills in the sense of metaphors, linguistic artificial structures, these kind of things. No, it's simple messages, simple sentences. That's it. So if you provide, if you have that, that's perfectly fine. So how about this part is clear. And for the application, you can do it in any other 24 official languages. That should be fine, and that shouldn't be a problem. But it need to be consistent. Remember, because now with the new system, with the new platform, you can upload, bring information, and if the core of the explanation of that information that you have uploaded, it's in English, and the rest of your application it's in Spanish. That's it. Just to choose my two languages, that could give you some trouble. So be sure that everything is consistent. If it's in English, English. If it's in Spanish, in Spanish. That's fine. Everything the same language. That's the only thing. Hope this is clear regarding the general conditions. But some of you were already asking on the chat about the eligibility criteria and how to perform. Let's go for it. But in any case, remember, just you will have plenty of questions. Just wait until I'm done with this part and until the end to solve your questions, because maybe what we are not addressing now, it's been addressed in 2 or 3 slides later. Hopefully. Otherwise, Q&A. So for field one, and we have done it for the 3 fields, don't worry. So the 3 fields share the same criteria in the sense that either you have a post-secondary studies attested by a diploma in the areas that we'll see now, and then you only need 3 years of experience. Otherwise, you need 6 years of experience. Fair. So on that part, for the field one, they ask for graphic or motion design, visual communication, communication design, or communication in general. I mean, the trick is that the post-secondary studies sometimes is difficult to define. Not all of us we are familiar with what could be or what could not be a post-secondary studies. Go to the Annex 3 in the notice, and you will see a big table with every member state there. and what is considered as secondary education, that gives you access to post-secondary education, and then what is a post-secondary education. I just took two examples, Belgium and Spain. Passing guys. I mean, but I'm from Cyprus. Don't worry, it's there as well. I'm from Romania as well. I'm from Germany as well. It's all the 27 member states are there. So you see that for Belgium, it's Certificat d'enseignement secondaire supérieur, diplôme secondaire, and then in Dutch, the Dutch equivalent, Flemish. And then that's for the secondary and the post-secondary candidature, candidate, graduate, graduerde. Sorry for my Dutch. A bachelor, professional heritage, bachelor. Those are the names. In the case of fellow Spaniards, so bachillerato, the the famous co for all generations, BUP, diploma técnico especialista, and then the secondary, the post-secondary education is the professional training, is FP, grado superior formación profesional. So hope this makes things quite clear regarding what's the diploma and what the diploma require and what not. What happens if you don't have the diploma? Then you go to the option number 2. Simple as you don't have a diploma, but you have other education, but not on the areas that mentioned in field 1, and you have 6 years of relevant experience. That's it. That's one thing. Then regarding the relevant experience, please, it's in the notice, the list of activities that you are supposed to have performed in order to be considered relevant. Do I need to have worked in the 5 items that appear there on the screen that are extracted from the notice of competition? Not necessarily. Can be several. The more, the better. That's always true. It's up to EPSO, to the eligibility assessors, checkers, who to decide what's the percentage. But for God's sake, I mean, if you have a contract that only say that you've been working on communication, but it doesn't say the detail, it doesn't provide any details on the task or on the areas of work, be sure that you have any complementary document that describe the areas of work. Specifically, the more aligned it is with the elements that you see on your screen now, the better. I'm not saying copy paste it, but at least, I mean, the areas, the task, they will be somehow people familiar with the elements, the requirements of the experience, so they can understand some general ideas, concepts, but please well explained and clear. Don't use jargon that is not at all connected to the wording or the words that appear in the notice. So something that allows someone who has no idea about you, who has no clue about your past and your work experience, reading your documents, reading your application, and consider, oh, this candidate has been working with Adobe Creative Cloud applications. Oh, she has experience in branding and branding communication. Good. She also has experience with ensuring the usability and accessibility of visual and digital assets. So fine. I mean, I'm going to count 100% of the time. So meaning that this person has been working for 6 years in a X company doing this task, 100%, 6 years, fine. It's eligible. That's it. If it's only been part of your job, it's not fully covered. It's, let's say, they consider 50%. So meaning from 6 years, it will be 3 years counted, and you will need another 3 years. These kind of things. So this is more simple than it seems, but don't overcomplicate yourselves. Don't, in a sense, over-explain in a way that put you far from the explanation and the input that appear in the notice. Those are the terms of reference. Those are the elements that they want to see reflected in your application. So if you have done it, just be sure that it's explained and clear in your application. That's the only thing that you need. And of course, as we say there, gather as many documents as possible. This is important in order to provide evidence. Because we've seen that lately in the eligibility checks, EPSO has become very picky, if I know how to say, and they really pay a lot of attention. They ask for a lot of clarifications. So the more documents you can provide at first, the better, to make it clear. Yep. Oops. For field number 2, exactly the same thing. So the only difference, the diploma should be in communication, marketing, journalism, image or video production, European studies, international relations, digital marketing, or language studies, plus 3 years of experience. Then the other option, secondary, attested by a diploma giving access to post-secondary education. For field specific conditions, here they consider a list of 8 areas. Fine. Same principle as before. The more you cover, the better. And then for the field 3, Webmaster, in this case, information and communication technologies, communication, marketing, journalism, image or video production, web design, digital media, digital marketing. I mean, this part is clear. And same for the areas. This time it's even broader, right? On that part. Yeah, I see some question, but maybe we need to refresh a little bit. Drink, so cold drink, sip. So you refresh, calm, and now see that question I see on the chat. So first, the document. What documents do I need to upload if I don't have a post-secondary degree? If you have the secondary degree, upload it. But wait, I did the university. Yeah, fine, but upload the document. That's one thing. Make life easy to the assessor. They have the checklist. So if they're asking for a secondary degree, upload it. I mean, not a big deal, right? If you have it, good. If you don't have it, it's bad luck because we lost it. In the last time I moved from a different house, I lost all my paperwork and I only have my university degree. To say, explain how your later studies, the university, are only accessible through your secondary degree. The fact that you have covered it by a higher degree. Okay? That I'm thinking about now in the case of Spain, for instance, it's possible to access to the university without the secondary degree, but it's not very common. It's only a very few cases. So most of you probably, for other countries the same. You have the secondary studies, so you have to explain. Don't give it for granted. Imagine if you are coming from Poland and the reviewer is coming from Portugal, and the assessor who is reviewing your documents for Portugal, and this person has been living in Portugal and in Brussels only in his life or her life. They have no clue about the Polish system. They have no clue at all. So make it life easy. Allow them to identify all the different steps that you've been required by the notice in your application. That's why. Above the secondary degree, you have it. If you have a post-secondary degree, for sure. I mean, absolutely. But what if I have a university degree and I don't have that post-secondary degree? Right? So explain it clear. Provide input that so that you cover with your degree what is being done in the post-secondary degree that has been asked by the notice. I'm thinking especially for IT specialists. So some of them, part of the knowledge, of the practical knowledge that you have seen in post-secondary studies could be also covered by a diploma at the university. So be sure that you have a good explanation for that. Check it. I mean, make life easy for the assessor on that part. Otherwise, they will ask for clarification and you may get a disqualification because they don't consider that you fulfill this criteria. That's why it's so important that you provide information, that you have all the documents with you. You still have time. I mean, now you have until the 29th of July to send your application. Fine. And also you have until October, November. We will check later. We have it on the timeline to upload the documents. So be sure that in your application everything is well explained. And if you know where to get the document, the background document, the certificate, but you don't have it with you now, you will need 1-2 months to get it. No problem. You will have time to upload it. But be sure that you have a complete list of the documents that you need. Be sure that the explanation is clear in your application, so you upload all that information first in your application and then later in the complementary documents. Hope this helps to clarify some of the doubt that you have and I saw on the chat. So what else do we have? Oh, the application. Yeah. The single candidate portal. Please follow the instruction. I mean, it's relatively clear, the new portal. It has the advantage that you can import, you can bring information from the outside, from your profile to the application. So be sure that you use it wisely. Check that information is complete. Just what I mentioned before. I'm not going to repeat myself, but just check that part. This is the look of the application. So you have the eligibility first. You need to confirm that you are eligible. Then the registration data and the CV part. So relatively simple. The languages, language 1, language 2, in which language you submit your application. It's also possible to define in which language you see the form. So it could be different, the language that you're filling your application and the language you see the form. So just pay attention to that. So some information that is there, and that's it. Not a big deal. So I see that on the chat you say for a master degree, this if it's an official master degree, a university degree, it's an official. If it's an official, probably it's not valid. In any case, check again against the notice. But as far as I recall now from the notice of competition, it needs to be official. If it's from a private entity that issues some certification of attendance, usually it's not valid. So only the official documents. Remember, any official document in a member state is a valid evidence for your application. Just Gemma.
One question: the documents of the language courses of the institutions are valid? I mean, they are official. They are issued by institutions when you make the the courses that you can take.
Yes, but you don't need them.
What do you mean?
You don't need to provide evidence of your languages.
Okay. I thought you had to provide. Okay.
No. As I say, for the languages, you only need to take the exams in the language 1 and language 2.
Okay.
If you are capable of passing the exams, that's it.
Okay, I thought that you needed some official ones. Okay, sorry.
No, I'm afraid that this is one of the paradox of the institutions. The only moment that you may need language certificates are for becoming a trainee.
Okay.
On that one, you really need evidence. But for becoming an officer, no.
Okay.
It's like that.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so how for the application? The application is rather simple. It's now has become much more simple than in the past. It's less cumbersome in the sense of uploading the documents. So, guys, you have plenty of time now. You have more than 3 weeks now to go little by little, step by step. And once we have uploaded this video on YouTube, just to check this video if you have any doubts regarding the eligibility criteria or how to explain things. But simple, effective. Just take time. The only thing that you cannot do is do it in the last minute, in 5 minutes, in the last 5 minutes, just filling in, because errors, typos will be plenty. That's the only thing you cannot do. For the rest, take time. And also the beauty of the new system is that you can edit your application once it has been submitted until the day it closes the application period. So you can come back, change, modify, and re-upload or resend the application. It's only considered when they close the time frame that whatever is in the system is the valid information. So I think this is useful, provided we don't make silly mistake like making some changes and forgetting to save them, or just leaving a work in progress application when the time closes. Okay, so oops, yeah, the evaluation. How it's going to be the evaluation process? Remember, here the rules are clear as well, and they contain a especially tricky element. So you need to pass the reasoning test. It doesn't matter if you get 40 out of 40, or if you get 10 in verbal and 10 between numerical and abstract. That's exactly the same thing. You have passed the reasoning. Good. Then you get your MCQ, multiple choice score. Remember that the multiple choice, and I will provide a few more details later, it's individual for each field. Each field will be different MCQ. And then if you are among the rank candidates, yes, Yamar?
Yeah, I'm sorry again. I have a question because with the AD the AD training, they say that probably the numerical and abstract they will have different. I mean, it will not be the mark will not be combined in the end. But in this one, in the AST, are we 100% sure that it's gonna be combined? You know, the
Okay,
scores.
I will answer, but please, this kind of question at the end.
Okay.
And I mean, what you see on the screen is a screenshot from the notice. What we do
Okay.
every time is take as many screenshots as possible. So this
Okay.
is combined, and every competition is different. That's why
Okay.
we bring a
No, no,
specific screenshot.
that's great, because I mean that's more than great that is like this in this in this case. But okay,
You know,
thank you so much.
we always follow a customized approach to every webinar that we do
Okay,
on
thanks.
that part. So that's what we know for your competition and what we're sharing.
Okay.
So, but the important thing is for all of you is that from the MCQ they will establish a ranking of the highest score first, of course, and the lowest at the bottom, provided all of you have more than 15 out of 30, 15 and above. So they establish a ranking. So and they depends on the field. They will choose 1.5 times. By the way, there is a typo in the first number. It shouldn't be a bit. It's not a typo. Sorry, it's the right number. It will be 1.5 times the number of seats for the reserve list that will be corrected, reviewed, the writing. All of you are taking all the three tests, but only those on the higher ranks of the MCQ will get the written review. And they will do the written and the review of the eligibility at the same time. And they will keep the scoring order of the MCQ to the reserve list. So in your competition, it's quite important to get a good score in the multiple choice. That's going to be key. Okay. That's it. I mean, that's the important thing, and that's the particularity in your competition, that they only taking the multiple choice as a ranking order, as a ranking score. Okay, so this is very important that you get the highest score possible in the MCQ and at least 5 in the written. 5, I mean, but I got 10 in the written. Fine, it's the same as 5. Both are good, equally good.
Okay, so now it's time to talk about the timeline of your competition. How it's going to happen? When it's going to happen? That's the big question. Some facts that are clear right from the beginning because they are indicated in the notice. You have until the 29th of July to present your application. 29th at noon. Remember, all EPSO deadlines are always at noon. Don't forget that, and don't leave it for the last day. Then, the second day that you have to be precise on it is the upload of the documents to provide evidence of your experience and education. And you have until the 14th of November. Don't leave it for the 14th. For application either. Don't wait until the last day. Try to do it earlier. I mean, if you already have the documents with you for your application, upload them. Once you have submitted your application, link them, and that's it. I mean, don't wait. And if you need more time because you need to get some documents that provide evidence of your working experience, fine, do it. But don't leave it for the last day, because in the best scenario, you get into the final stage of the competition. They are checking your eligibility. EPSO will give you only 5 days if they have any question or any comment regarding the documentation provided, or if they want more documents. And based on the experience of what we have seen for the candidates who got that communication, it's not a very pleasant situation. They are under a lot of stress to provide or to get the documents in time. So that's why we insist, do it earlier. Don't wait until the last day. With this clear, the advantage that we have this time in this competition is that EPSO, after 2 weeks of launching the competition, they decided to update and inform about the indicative exam date. They indicated end of October. It's true that we expected it will be early September, maybe early or mid-September, but the fact that EPSO has changed of IT platform, we have a new platform for the exams, lead us to EPSO to wait until everything is well done, verified, confirm meaning that they will organize the exam at the end of October. When we say the end of October, it could be between the 20th and the 31st. In this case, please don't get overconfident and be ready for the 20th. As well, you have an advantage is that the document for the written test should be published or available at least 2 weeks before the exam. So it serves as a trigger, a warning that you are approaching the exam. That's an advantage. Also, there is a possibility, depending on the number of candidates, that the exams will take place in different dates according to their fields. Meaning, it could be the case that for field number 1, they have the exam on the day X. For the field number 2 is the day X plus 1, and for the day, field number 3, the day X plus 2. Something like that. Shouldn't be a problem. In any case, end of October. Mark yourself as the 20th of October as the D-Day. And if you get more time, excellent. Few more days to review, to recapitulate, to practice, whatever you will want, or to rest, just to gain energy for the exam, because you already have done everything that you could to prepare yourself. That would be super. And then once you have taken the exam, you will have to be patient. It will take a while to get the results. We expect by the end of the first quarter of 2026, meaning March, but it could be also April. Why not? It could be usually it's taking months, several months to get the results from EPSO. Be patient. Also remember, as we mentioned before, that you will get the results only at the end of the process. They are not mid-communications. They are nothing in the middle. It's just at the end of the road, the results of your competition. That's right. And let's be optimistic, or let's be realistic. All of you, you're here, you're listening us. It's because you're motivated, you are willing to pass this competition, and you will. You have passed the competition and you see your name on the reserve list. Excellent news, super. Then what? Well, after your name is published in the reserve list, it will come the part of the interview, the moment when you have to apply for positions in the institution. But for that, we will talk when the moment comes. Still quite ahead of us. It's better to focus not only on the exam to pass it, and then we will see. And we will start working on the second part of the whole process to become officers of the European Institute. Hope the timeline is clear. And now let's concentrate in other parts.
Another sip of our cold beverage. We're thinking, okay, but what about the test, right? And what about how to do it? What can I do here, right? So, and the test, yeah. You're feeling curious about it, yeah. Let's not stop. Moving forward. So this is the exam. Remember one thing. Sorry, there's 30 points, not 40 points. That should be 30 points at the bottom. My bad on that part. But on the important thing from this slide, what you should retain, it's 1 day for the exam. And the thing is that usually they give a lot of time between tests. It's not one after another so far. So at this moment, foreseen that you will have to take the whole day to take the exam. Meaning, usually the exams for the reasoning start at 10. They end 1 hour, 5 minutes after, but usually until noon or 1 p.m. they don't start the second part. That will be the field-related MCQ. And then probably 2 or 3 p.m. you will have the written test, the EUFTE. So meaning that you end at 4, more or less. So that's why I don't think that the day of the exam, oh no, I will take the morning off and I can work in the afternoon. No, you cannot. Don't take the day off. I mean, if you're working in the private sector, you usually cannot take the exam while working. Let's take the day off. That will be the safer approach to it. Yep. Then on the reasoning, simple as it is. You need on verbal 10 out of 20, and the numerical and abstract together 10 out of 20. The thing is that be careful with the verbal reasoning. Lately, it's been a death trap for many candidates. Not good. Don't get overconfident. Prepare accordingly. The worst enemy that you can have in the reasoning test is the panic and getting nervous. Why? Because in the numerical, if you keep calm, but it's difficult. You have this on the screen the calculator. You cannot operate easily. Fine. We know it's not easy, but still you can do 5, 4, 6, 7 numerical exercises right. But if you panic, you will get 0. And then you need 10 out of 10 in abstract to pass. Not good. So, but if you get 6, 7 in numerical and you get 6, 7 in abstract, more than enough to pass. That's why you need to avoid panicking. You need to avoid getting nervous. You want to see some examples, check our YouTube channel. We will upload new examples during the summer there as well. Also, EPSO webpage, they have some examples if you've never seen a reasoning test. So you will have it. In any case, the difficulty expected for this exam shouldn't be too high. It's an AST, so meaning that difficulty is a bit lower than AD level. It's for those of you who have taken the CAST exam, it's comparable to between an CAST 3, CAST 4. And if you have taken the reasoning test for CAST, remember, you still have to take this exam. And they are not compatible. They are not, you cannot be exonerated for taking the reasoning test because you have passed a reasoning test before. No, each competition has its own reasoning test. As simple as that. Then for the field 1, what we saw is that we expect a multiple choice that will be rather technical in the field, meaning that questions about the Adobe Creative Cloud applications, how they operate, the technical characteristics, everything that is technically related to these items, expected. I mean, image characteristics, software that is used, protocols, how things are done. Expect these kind of questions. The members of the board will be experts in your field, will be people who are working already in this area of work. So they will ask questions of their work. So use the notice of competition. You can use the description, the task described to take into consideration the expertise, but also you can go to Annex 2, if I remember correctly, where it's described also the areas of work or your field. So go there and establish a list of technical aspects linked to the task that you think that are suitable. We will see a few more things later, but just as an initial approach, I mean, there is not a list, there is not a list of topics that can be part of your exam, an official list, never has been done by EPSO. So this is our guess based on our experience and what we think makes sense for your competition. Of course, always pay attention to any other indication provided by EPSO. But this is it. For the field number 2, same thing about managing social media, producing published social media and other digital contacts, task of community manager. So how to operate in social media, how to use some social media applications. That perfectly could be. You know, what are the political guidelines of the use of social media in the commission or in the institutions as well? So all this work could be part of it. And in general, the communication from the institutions. So be ready for that part. So elaborate your own list of topics. Team up with other candidates. There are more than 100 seats for each competition, so you can always team up among yourselves in order to cover more ground on each one of your fields. Yep. Oh, sorry for the heading. Too fast. Copy pasting. But the thing is that same principle for the field number 3 on relation with the areas explained there. Here, as this is the Webmaster, this is the for webs, that could be things rather technical. In the sense, how would you solve a specific software problem or coding problem in your web? This kind of thing. So expect something that could be, very, very technical on that part. And on a complementary note, and I think this is horizontal, this is for all of you. In some of you, maybe there were more questions about this. In some of you, maybe only a few, but still valid. Especially, well, I mean, I was thinking about the field number 3, but Europa with guide will be useful for you because also there's some technical content there. But yeah, go to the institutions. We have elaborated this list. You will have access once you have the presentation on the different guidelines on how to communicate, how to operate webs, how to do several things at the level of communication in the 3 fields of expertise of this competition. So with this and with the main points that we mentioned before, you have plenty of fun for the summer. Plenty to study and to review. Hope this is clear for the multiple choice. Now I'm moving to the essay. Yeah, on the essay. Important thing that, again, it's on the notice, in your notice. We just took it from there. So the essay candidates will be required to respond to the test, assignment, or assignments. It could be one or several, based on the documentation related to EU matters. I mean, regarding this, you will say, no, for sure it will be a document about EU communication. No, for sure it will be a document about EU web pages. No, it will be a document about EU social media. Probably none of them. I mean, based on our experience, the documents are clearly not in line with the competition when it's a free essay like yours. So expect something different. Climate change, energy measures, global trade, the regulation on water pollution, any kind of document. Okay? Could be one document or several. So far, it's been one document that has been provided to the candidates 2 weeks before. So far, this is the structure, but it's true that the 2 weeks is the habitude, is what they usually do, but it's not a fixed rule. They say earlier, but nothing else. And another interesting fact is the candidates will receive the same documentation during the test along with the assignment, so you will have access to the documents during the exam. Also, another thing is that probably the text will be the same for all of you. The exam will have the same things for all of you because they are assessing only communication skills. They are not assessing anything else, nothing on your expertise at technical level. So they don't need to change the document. They don't need to create different assignments. The only difference is that if they decide to go to 3 different dates, one per field, that could be different assignment. That also we have seen it. But content-wise, we expect that it will be exactly the same document for the 3 of you, the 3 fields that you are part. And regarding the assignment, you can expect many things. Could be a briefing of your superior who's going to meet a stakeholder, could be a letter for some specific stakeholders, could be a summary of a certain concrete aspect of policy that you need to deliver to your hierarchy. So usually there's a task, kind of elaboration of the information that you got in your hands with a purpose of with an audience, with a target audience. Those are the 2 elements. And please, if you think that by just reading the document before the exam and doing nothing else, you're doomed. I mean, this exam requires a good understanding and a good work of the document provided by EPSO. So book yourself a few afternoons or a few days before the exam just to work on the document that you will be given. In order, because you need to understand it. You don't need to memorize it. It's not an exam about just repeating what is inside. No, it's about understanding what is inside, elaborating to communicate. So it's a big difference, and you need to work on it. Hope I myself clear. And then, well, just approaching the end, one last drink, one last sip of our cocktail. Let's call it like that, and short reference to what we can do for you from Hacemos Europeos team. As usual, we have done this webinar, free access to all of you to help you to prepare this competition. But of course, if you want further help, don't forget to contact us to the 85 generalists. For this competition, we will issue some specific trainings mid-July, second half of July. Be ready, follow us on social media in order to be alert on what we are going to publish. That access, we are trying to approach the multiple choice and also the written part. If you are in an internal competition for the European institutions, Commission, External Action Service, Parliament as well, we have some trainings and materials. And of course, if you like it, today's webinar, and you found it useful, don't forget to follow us on social media. Give it a like on YouTube. You know, the algorithm, they always ask for it. And all this because we are here to help you. And talking about help you, we want you and we want your questions. So let's go for the questions. I'm gonna read the chat. Let's see. The last written test in your second language? Yes, in language number 2. Whatever you define, the written will be on language number 2. It's in the notice. If you pass the first reasoning test but not the following exam, does the successful reasoning test appear on your profile like a successful cast result? No, not at all. No. I mean, each competition is self-contained unless the notice said differently. And so far, it never been the case. Each competition is self-contained. So whether you pass or you fail, that's it in the competition. And for the multiple choice, I hope I answer your question. You see, at the end, we try to answer the questions during our presentation. We have learned something during the last few years, delivering these webinars and addressing your concerns. 2 days ago, EPSO announced the exam date was the 29th of October. This is not the case anymore. It was 29th of October. Good thing. Maybe I miss it. So apologies for that. I mean, I must acknowledge I prepared the presentation on Friday. So sorry if I didn't check the last 48 hours. So if that's the case, we will upload the video accordingly. It was stated, I'm certain today they took it back. They took it back. So, I mean, the planning that we did, it's based on our best knowledge and experience, and also we have learned that we don't trust EPSO. With all due respect to EPSO colleagues and the people working there, I mean, there's been a lot of issues, so the dates tend to change. It's true that in the last competitions, they try to, after the closing of the registration period, they try to take the exam 1 month and a half later. That's why we have selected end of August, but September most likely scenario. But still, it could be perfectly October if they are deciding to go to the new platform. If they will use the new platform, yeah, most likely October. But in any case, we prefer you to give you the shortest period available so you get ready in that time. Because then if we prepare for October and they decide to put the exam in September, we miss a month. Not good, right? So better until we have a formal official date, we prepare for the worst case scenario. And also you take advantage of the summer, so why not? Always with one caveat. Go on holidays, enjoy 1 week, 2 weeks to relax, to chill, and then use the rest of the time to study. But don't spend the whole summer studying. I mean, there's time for breaking, there's time for relaxing, and there's time for studying. There's time for both options. It's not the question of killing yourself by studying the whole time. Yeah, regarding disability, there's been some indications by EPSO, and in the notice, it's also indicated in the portal. In my candidate, I think it's there. No, it was, yeah. I got it when I did the screenshot. There is an option in the menu in order to indicate if you have any issue, because I think the cast is still with the old portal. So if you have any issues, take good note and write them back for this exam to be sure that all the real needs are covered and all the eventualities are covered in the planification and in the way they give you access to the exam. We know that in the last times, EPSO has been doing an effort in order to customize the exam in order for people who need special requirements. But of course, with the technical problems and with all the caveats of these competitions, it can be tricky. Okay, so when preparing the candidate, does it make sense to be very detailed in the professional experience, even if it's less related to the topic, or it's better to stick to the experience in the exact field? I will try to stick my information to whatever is required. I mean, don't provide details that are not touching the needs of this competition, and with one consideration that you have the documents that say the same. I mean, because if you just say in your application you've been working on two of the fields that appear in the notice for one of the two of the areas for one of the fields, and then you have present a certificate, a document of evidence where it describes 20 different tasks, and all of the 20, only 2 are the ones that are required by the notice of competition. Then still you will be penalized, and it will be counting as 50%, 25%. So paying attention to that, but in the application, focus on the key areas of information that you need to deliver. The other details, why do they need them? How to select the right profile? Could I apply for 2 fields, but I'm afraid the higher number of candidates will go to field number 2. First of all, as we say right at the beginning, we don't care about the number of real candidates, real number of candidates. Why? Because at the end, you will depend more on your rights than on the rights. Meaning that if you do a great exam, you will be there. If you do a bad exam, you won't be there. It doesn't matter how many candidates at the end there are. So just think that the scoring, the multiple choice result need to be high, and there's 26, 27, but that's it. So that's one thing. And second, regarding the fields, depends on your profile, depends on your experience. Check where you have more experience and you can provide evidence for that experience. That's the key thing. So, and you select the field. I mean, on that part, it needs to be you. I mean, my suggestion will be to write it down. I mean, write a list of the elements that you fulfill on field, let's say field number 1, and another list of field number 2, and independently, one day one and the second day the other, and then compare them, seeing which one you have more experience, more documents that showcase your experience. So, and this is it. I mean, don't think other factors, external factors at this point. No, it's more about you, your application, where you are strong at, and where you can provide evidence. So my university degree was not called marketing, but involved many subjects of marketing. It's still illegal. Yeah, provide as much information as possible. Sure. That's why this eligibility is done by human beings, not by machines, because really they need to understand what what is inside the application of the candidate, how, and that there are many exceptions. There are many situations like yours that you may have a university degree that can be considered or can be called marketing, but they decide to name it differently. But still, you cover a lot of elements of marketing. So that could be it, but explain it. They don't know it. They cannot do a research on you. They just can do to dig in the document that you have provided. Our pleasure. Okay, more questions, more comments. Did they leave anything unattended? So professional degrees, título propio doesn't count, right? Exactly. Even if you provide a diploma, it's an official diploma. Where do you have it? Yeah, it needs to be an official diploma, but again, check the notice. More questions, more comments? Yeah, minimum 3 years of experience is the postgraduate, post-secondary, not postgraduate, postgraduate is master. Post-secondary studies. Should be providing English translation? No need. Provided it's in one of the 24 official languages of the European Union, it's fine. But meaning, you got your degree in, I don't know, in Chinese because you were studying in the University of Beijing. Then two things. You need to translate it from Chinese to a European language, and you need to legalize your diploma in an European member state. You cannot apply with a diploma that has been issued by an entity outside of the European Union. For those in the UK, I think the rule still applies that if it was before Brexit, it's still valid. If it's after Brexit, it needs to be legalized in a member state. For the language 1, language 2 strategies, Spanish and working language, I mean, we cannot give you a concrete advice because it depends on you. I mean, if you choose language 1, let's say Spanish, your native language, you have the reasoning test in Spanish. Probably a bit easier. Could be, but not always. Because verbal reasoning sometimes is tricky when it's in your native language. You tend to do mistakes because you overthink, or you don't pay attention to some aspects that a native just go very fast on them. While for the language 2, depends which one you choose. If it's a working language and you're used to write in English, that shouldn't be a problem, for instance, for the writing. But on the other hand, the writing in Spanish, your native, well, you can operate faster, you can write faster. So my suggestion is practice with the two options. Try some exercises in Spanish and try some exercises in English. I'm assuming that your second language is English. And you see where you are stronger and weaker. That's the best way to decide. You still have time to do it. I mean, I don't think that there is a fixed rule for anyone, because we've seen people who scored better points, higher points in verbal reasoning using the working language rather than native, and vice versa. For the abstract reasoning, I don't think that the language is an issue for any one of us, but for numerical and verbal, could be. Yeah, and for the knowledge, multiple choice as well. In which language are you used to work? Imagine that you're used to work in English at the level of communication, and then you're taking the exam in Spanish, because the exam, you say language 2 Spanish for the writing and for the multiple choice. Maybe the terminology is different. Maybe the concepts are different word-wise. I mean, content-wise are the same, but the wording is different and you don't identify what you need. That could be it. Check. Because in some technical areas, maybe the vocabulary that you use is the same or not. Pay attention that if your technical area, maybe you work in Spanish, but you use a lot of English terminology. Probably they will translate the technical terms in your multiple choice to Spanish. So that could be misleading. All these aspects need to be considered. And again, do a checklist. Try exercises in both options and see how it goes. Depends on how it went. You take the option of which one, language 1 and language 2. Okay, so I don't know if there is any last question. Otherwise, we will close here. We will upload later the video, and we will pay attention to this EPSO publication of dates or not. If they took it away, I mean, don't pay much attention. I personally will prepare myself for September, considering as the key date for the exam, that you got at the end more time. Super excellent. In any case, usually the exam date is announced minimum 3 weeks in advance. So we have some margin of maneuver for it. Yep, go for it. Prepare yourselves well. Remember, you have our assistance, and stay tuned. Follow us on social media, because soon we will bring some new elements for you to prepare this competition. Okay, so Clara, just check the video. We reply for the multiple choice, different sources and materials and ideas on how to prepare the MCQ. Okay. And just the PowerPoint, as we said, we will be sharing with the video recording. See you then. Bye.